Good evening, everyone. This is Robert, RJL 518, welcoming you to a special edition of my channel. Tonight, we're doing some Marvel Champions. We're going to do Spider-Man versus Rhino tonight. And this is actually the first scenario in the Marvel Champions box score set. We're going to do this a little bit. We're going to do this pretty much by the book as best as we can. I have everything in Marvel Champions, and I do mean I have everything for it. I just received the newest expansion in Vision. I'm awaiting on Valkyrie, and I have played every module and every hero and villain. But I want to stream a little bit of this. I know some of this is not your cup of tea, but for those of you who are here to enjoy this, I hope you do. And we're going to be playing the Spider-Man starter deck. We're going to use the starter deck that Spider-Man actually comes with in the core box set, and we're going up against a standard Rhino with a bomb scare. So I'll introduce to you the cards here first, as we have, of course, the original Spider-Man, and Peter Parker, of course, is his alter ego. Spider-Man's nemesis is Vulture, and that gets put aside for the time being, unless we need it. This is his obligation eviction, and that will go into the a counter deck, which is this. So we'll be using Spider-Man, and we'll be playing the starter deck, which is a Power of Justice. Starter decks, I should let you know, stink. They really, really do, especially since we're using Spider-Man's starter deck. This means we're only using cards that were in the core box set. So none of the what do you call it? None of the extra cards will be in are available in this. And of course we have his basic cards. So none of them are going to be in this. None of the new cards will be in it. So, we're going to use just the basic stuff. Now, as I said, starter decks stink. They really do. I did test this starter deck, though, against Rhino before I started the stream. I did win with it, so I know I can win with the starter deck. Question is, will we? What we're going to do is we're going to try to do a little campaign. We're going to try the campaign with Spider-Man. And what will happen is if a hero is defeated, we will go to the next hero. And when we defeat a villain, we'll move on to the next villain, obviously in the next stream. So let's go ahead and first things first, let's prepare and that's garbage. I don't know why they continue to call, but they are garbage. So let's see what we got here, shall we? So first thing I'm going to do is we're going to set up a Rhino. We're just going to play standard Rhino 1 and 2. And I got to make sure we set everything up here. Don't have a lot of space, but we will do what we can here for Rhino. And set that up, and starts with 14 hit points. So here is his first thing here, which is the break-in. And we'll go ahead and take that. This is the standard set, the basic, and the bomb scare module. And how I go ahead and now take the eviction notice. And how I like to first shuffle is doing something like this, which separates the cards nicely. Take that, take that, take that, take that, put them all. And we go ahead and shuffle. All my cards are sleeved. They use Dragon Shield sleeves, which are pretty much, in my opinion, the best sleeves you can get. They're very sturdy. And the encounter deck is now set and ready. We take Spider-Man. Flip them over to Peter Parker. That's what we start with. And we'll go ahead and shuffle these as well. Hope everyone is fine out there. Put that on top, put that on top, and put that on top. There we go. Oh, some went under there. And we'll shuffle. And of course, one gets flipped over as usual, as they usually do. And as I said, this is the starter deck. And starter decks usually are challenging because they're really not very good. But we shall see. We shall see here, shall we? So we have Peter Parker here. I am getting some better things. I actually ordered some Uber stacks. For those of you that really like a good comprehensive version of Marvel Champions, check out Dale, the Gamer. He is, in my opinion, one of the best at this game, as well, of course, as ID Jester, who is pretty darn good himself. Okay, so we're going to do the break-in. And we're going to do the break-in here. And that's the main scheme for Rhino. And Rhino is trying to smash through the facility wall and steal a shipment of vibranium. You must stop him, so we cannot allow this stage to get to 7 for threat. So we shall do the best we can to see if we can prevent it. All right, Spider-Man starts with a hand size of 6. I'm not here to teach the game. I'm just here to play it. If you want to learn how to really play the game, check out Dale and the Casual Gamer. He can really teach you how to play the game. So we start with 6 cards. I'll keep my other cards here to the other side. Of course, Spider-Man is usually first. Well, the player usually goes first. And let's see what we got. So Great Responsibility for Justice, Interrogation Room, Aunt May, Backflip, and Nick Fury. Definitely going to keep Aunt May. I'll keep Backflip. Nick Fury is always good to have early. And we were going to go ahead. I'll dump Interrogation Room. I'll dump Great Responsibility. And I'm going to dump for Justice for now. And we'll take 3 more cards. And we get another for Justice, but we get a Jessica Jones and a Helicarrier. That's actually pretty good. Okay. So we'll put these cards over here so I can keep track. And these were already put to the side. Okay. So we got to stop Rhino. We got to beat him twice, pretty much. All right. So let's see what we're going to do here. Peter Parker, first thing off, he generates a mental resource. So we're going to use that. And we're going to do that real quick. And we're going to bring out Aunt May, who is always good to have. So we get her pretty much for free. Mental resource, we get it for free. And just like that, we're going to go ahead and we're going to flip to Spider-Man. And we're going to play for Justice, Nick Fury, and Jessica Jones to put out the Helicarrier. It's always good. That reduces a card by the phase by 1, even though I really don't like getting rid of allies. Well, actually, you know what? Let's see. Do I really want to do that, or do I want to put out Jessica Jones instead? No, let's put out Jessica Jones. Get an ally out there early. Get that. We'll keep the backflip, and we'll start. Okay, so Spider-Man does attack for 2. And Rhino goes to 12. Jessica Jones will attack for 2. Puts a damage on her, bringing Rhino down to 10. So Rhino starts at 10 right there. So already we get some quick hits in on him. All right. And we'll end our turn. We get a hand size of 4. Emergency, Avengers Mansion, a Haymaker, and enhanced Spider Sense. That's actually good to have. Okay, so for Rhino turn, threat goes on the main scheme. He will attack, and I think we'll take it. So he attacks for 2 plus 1 is 3. So Spider-Man takes 3 points of damage. 3 points of damage there. And he gets an encounter card, and it is Explosion. If Bomb Scare is in play, assign X damage among heroes and allies, where X is the amount of threat on Bomb Scare. If Bomb Scare is not as play, this card gains Surge, which it does because Bomb Scare is not in play at the moment. And then now we get the Shadow of the Past card, which is even better, which is even worse. So the Shadow of the Past card. Reveal your set-aside Nemesis minion and put it into play. Engage with you. Reveal your set-aside Nemesis side scheme and put it into play. Shuffle the rest of your set-aside Nemesis encounter set into the encounter deck. If your Nemesis minion does not enter the game this way, this card gains Surge. So just like that, Vulture has shown up. Highway Robbery is his side scheme. And so that's going to join into the fight there. And these 3 cards are now put into the encounter deck. I'm still suffering I still have some of the COVID symptoms, although I have been feeling a little better recently. I'm thinking maybe I should be able to return to work next week, I hope. Being out a couple of weeks really stunk. And Vulture does have a quick strike, so after this minion engages a hero, it attacks, and which is great. So that's great to have him show up already. And he attacks, and Spider-Man is going to defend it, and that means the 3 points of damage will not hurt him. Actually, you know what? No, I'm not going to defend it. I can play Backflip. When you would take any amount of damage from an attack, prevent all of that damage. And I did have Enhanced Spider Sense, and I didn't use it, but too late now. So we take to avoid the damage. Okay, so now we go back to us. So now I got to deal with him. Luckily, Vulture only has 4 hit points. So Spider-Man, let's see, we put a threat on the scheme. Let's put a threat on the scheme there for the break-in. And that has, and this, of course, has 3 threat on Highway Robbery. Each player places a random card from their hand face down here, which we didn't do from my hands, as a matter of fact. So I didn't do that, as a matter of fact. So we got to put one out there now, which we will do. So it doesn't give me much. There's a good here. Random card from their hand face down here. So we got to deal with 3 threat on Highway Robbery, and it does increase the amount of threat. So that was not a good thing to get this early in the game against Rhino. Okay, so it's now our turn. Let's see. Well, I lost a couple of cards already. We're going to go ahead. I don't have much here to work with now with that card out there. I got to take care of the scheme. But we can take care of the scheme. So Spider-Man's going to thwart for 1, which brings Highway Robbery down to 2. Jessica Jones thwarts for 1, but she gets +1 thwart for each side scheme in play. So that's a side scheme. So she thwarts for 2, actually. And gets Highway Robbery out of there. So that goes away. And we get the card back. And let's see what we're going to do here. We're going to use... What we do? I was not expecting that Vulture to show up that fast. Well, we're going to play Emergency and Avengers Mansion to play the Haymaker, deal 3 damage to an enemy, and that's going to go to him. Keeping Enhanced Spider Sense, we will flip. We'll flip. He generates a resource if we need to, and that is our turn, actually. So that is our turn. So we get our guys back to here. And we draw 5 cards, get our hand back up to 6. Getting Black Cat, First Aid, Power Justice, Swinging Web Kick, and another Swinging Web Kick, and 2 Spider Sense. Okay, so on to Rhino's turn. Rhino is going to scheme, plus with Vulture, so it's 2. So first we get a threat on the main scheme, and it is 1, 2 plus 0. So lucky for us, it's only 2. So 2 more go on the main scheme. So it's already at 4. Gets an encounter card, and that is Eviction Notice. Damn, I am getting hit hard early here. All right, so Eviction Notice. Exhaust Peter Parker. Remove Eviction Notice from the game. Discard 1 card at random from your hand. This card gains Surge. Discard this obligation. Well, I'll go ahead and exhaust him, and that gets rid of that card from the game. So we got hit hard here quickly, but we got to do some work here. Got some threat to remove. All right. So that was his turn. It is now our turn. Okay. So back to us. Aunt May. We exhaust, and then gives him 4 damage back. So he goes back. He goes back to 10. Goes back to 10 points. You guys probably can't see that, so I'll just put it there. Take that out of there. So you can see how much he's down here there. I know you guys can see this. All right. Too much glare, unfortunately, from the thing. Can I remove some of the glare here? Not really. I'll just have to leave it as is, I'm afraid. All right, no problem. Okay, so Vulture, Jessica Jones. Let's see what we're going to do here. All right, so Peter Parker generates a resource on his own, and he's going to apply First Aid, heal 2 damage from any character, which is actually going to heal her. So we keep her in there. Okay. She is going to attack for 2 and knock Vulture out. She gets back to 1 damage. And we'll flip over. We'll flip over here. And we're going to play the Power of Justice and 1 Swinging Web Kick to bring out Black Cat, which is good to have. I'm not ready to attack Rhino at the moment. We gotta get the stuff off the main scheme. Black Cat will thwart for 1. Which does put a damage on her for thwarting. We'll keep in hand Spider Sense and 1 Swinging Web Kick. And that will end our turn, looks like. All right, we get 4 cards. Swinging Web Kick, Interrogation Room Energy, and Webbed Up. Webbed Up's always nice to have. Actually, I'm sorry, 3 cards. I got 2 others in hand. So actually, I'll put that one back. And that will do it there. Okay. So let's see what we got next. So next up, we'll go. It is his turn. It's a threat on the main scheme. He will attack Spider-Man. The one thing I did not do is when he attacked, I didn't draw a card. So sometimes, as I said, I haven't played the game in a while, so I'm still trying to remember it. So let's see what we got. So he attacks Spider-Man, and he's going to take it. So he attacks. We draw a card, getting back that Swinging Web Kick anyway. So he attacks for 1 plus 2. So he actually hits me back for 3. So once again, we go back down to 7. Get the counter card, and it is Shocker now joins. is a much different game than I played earlier. The one thing about playing these games, they're really not the same game twice. They really, really are not. They're not the same game twice. All right. Okay, so Spider-Man's turn. So what are we going to do here? Spider-Man, we got Shocker there. When revealed, deal 1 damage to each hero. So we actually goes down to 6. Okay. So lucky Shocker doesn't take much damage. So what are we going to do here? So we are going to... I'm going to put down I'm going to play Webbed Up to put down the interrogation room. And then, let's see. Put down interrogation room. Spider-Man's going to attack for 2. And Black Cat's going to attack for 1, which will get Shocker out of there. And we exhaust an interrogation room after you defeat a minion. Exhaust interrogation room and remove 1 threat from a scheme. So Shocker is gone. And a threat comes off the scheme. Shocker comes off the scheme. All right. Jessica Jones is going to thwart for 1. Get another threat off the scheme. And then we got to knock Rhino down a little bit. So we're going to use energy and 1 swing web kick to play another swing web kick, which will deal 8 damage to an enemy. So Rhino goes down to 2. He goes down to 2 now. And put another hurt on her. And that is actually the end of our turn. So, turn. And we draw. I'm not going to flip over yet. I want to keep Rhino interested. So, 1. So, we get 4 cards to go with the Spider Sense, Intuition, Justice, Surveillance Team, and Strength. Okay. The one thing about playing these battles over and over again, as I said, it's always different. It's actually always different. It really is. Okay, so it is Rhino's turn. We put a threat on the main scheme. Rhino is going to attack. And Black Cat is going to... I think I'd rather have Jessica Jones stay there. So Black Cat's going to defend. So he does 2 plus 2 is 4, which takes her out. And get an encounter card. And it is I'm Tough. Give Rhino a tough status card. If Rhino already has a tough status card, this card gains Surge. So Rhino just got a little bit on the tough side. I put that on there, which tells me that I know I have to remove it before I can take damage off of it. All right. Spider-Man's turn. Well, Spider-Man's got to try. I'm going to more concentrate. I think I want to get rid of the problem with the break-in at the moment before I knock Rhino down a notch. So what we're going to do is we're going to play the Power of Justice, double the number of resources this card generates while paying for a Justice card. And we're going to give Heroic Intuition to Spider-Man, which gives him +1 thwart. And then we're going to go ahead and play Strength for Surveillance Team. Uses 3 Snoop counters. Exhaust Surveillance Team, remove 1 Snoop counter from it to remove a threat from the scheme. We'll keep Enhanced Spider Sense. So it gets 3 Snoop counters. So let's see what we're going to do here. So Spider-Man is going to, we're going to thwart for 2 on the break-in. Which brings it down to 1. And surveillance team, we will exhaust, move a snoop counter from it, and that brings the break-in down to break-in down to 0, which is nice. And I could use Jessica Jones to remove the tough status symbol. I think I'd rather have her attack. So what we're going to do is Spider-Man is going to flip over. Aunt May will heal him back to 10. Back to 10. And I think that should do it. I know Rhino's got a tough status card. I could use Jessica Jones to probably knock it off, but I think just using her just knock off tough status, I think is a mistake. I really was more concentrated on making sure the brain scheme didn't work. So that's going to end our turn. And he's going to get 5 cards. Genius, Spider Tracer, Web Shooter, No Surveillance Team, and Daredevil. And Daredevil is very nice to have in Justice. Okay. So, Rhino's turn. Draw a threat on the main scheme. He schemes for 1, plus 1 is 2. So now there is 3 on the scheme. And counter card. And it is Hydra Mercenary. Guard. While this minion is engaged with you, you cannot attack the villain. So we have a Hydra Mercenary Guard, which is a little bit of a pain in the butt, but I think we can do fine. Okay. So, all right. So it is back to our turn. Thing about these games, you can actually make them as easy or as tough as you want. There's standard mode. There's actually a rookie mode where you only have to beat the enemy once. You can really make it as easy or as tough as you want. You really can. All right. So let's see what we're gonna do here. So we got a Hydra Mercenary I got to deal with. We are gonna go ahead and gonna play. He generates a resource that gives geniuses a 3. We'll use surveillance team for 4, and that will put out Daredevil. We will then use a Spider Tracer to bring out a Web Shooter. The Web Shooter gets 3 of these. Okay. All right. We'll keep the enhanced spider sense. So Peter Parker will flip and back to Spider-Man. And he is going to attack for 2 on the Hydra Mercenary. She's going to attack. And she is going to attack for 2 as well to get him out of there. The Hydra Mercenary goes bye-bye. Goes bye-bye. And that takes her out as well. And then, let's see. And then Daredevil. If Daredevil thwarts, deal 1 damage to an enemy. Which I probably could have done that to save it. But Daredevil instead is going to... We're going to do... Daredevil is going to thwart for 2. Which we'll get, since the tough status on Rhino is still there. We'll save that. Brings it down to 1. And he has 1 damage. Okay. So we go ready. That is the end of our turn. And we get 4 cards. Mockingbird, Enhanced Spider Sense, Tenacity, and another Web Shooter. Okay. Oh yeah, we'll go ahead and use a surveillance team to remove a threat. Okay. Now we do that. All right, now we go back to his turn. So the threat goes back on the main scheme. And he gets to attack. Spider-Man's going to defend. So he attacks for 2. We get our card because he did attack. We're getting webbed up. Attacks for 2 plus 1 is 3. He defends on 3, so Rhino doesn't hurt us at all. Get an encounter card, and it is Stampede. When revealed hero attacks, Rhino attacks you. If a character is damaged by this attack, that character is stunned. Ouch. All right. Well, I'm gonna have to. So he attacks me again. Only this time, Daredevil's gonna have to defend it. So he does 2 plus 2 is 4, but Daredevil is gone. That stunk. All right. Because I was thinking Daredevil was going to go ahead and hold him back on that. All right. It is now our turn. Well, Web Shooter brings 1 down. Web Shooter, exhaust Web Shooter and generate a wild resource. And we're going to use 1 enhanced spider sense to streaming. We're going to use spider sense, generates a resource for 2, and we're going to go ahead and we're going to bring out tenacity. Spend a physical resource and discard this card. Ready your hero. And then we're going to go ahead and play Webbed Up, another Web Shooter, enhanced spider sense again to bring out Mockingbird. Mockingbird comes out after Mockingbird enters stunned enemy, so now he is stunned. Okay, he is stunned. And Mockingbird will attack for 1 to get the tough status card off of him. And the surveillance team will utilize its last 1 to get that threat off. And that's pretty much our turn, really. So, surveillance team, interrogation, Spider-Man, and that's it there. Tenacity allows me to ready him if necessary. Okay, so we get 5 cards. We're about to exhaust our decks. We got 1, 2, 3, 4. And that gives us an encounter card. We reshuffle. I didn't have this much trouble the first time I played this earlier. I actually beat him pretty much not even halfway through the deck. We draw another card there. So we got Heroic Enrichment, Spider Tracer, Backflip, Great Responsibility, another Backflip. That's actually useful. 2 Backflips are nice. Okay, so it is Rhino's turn. He is stunned, so he cannot attack. So we go straight to an encounter card. So I got 2 encounter cards I got to deal with. First one is the Vulture's Plans. Discard 1 card at random from each player's hand. Place 1 threat on the main scheme for each different resource type discarded this way. Because the Vulture was in it, so discard 1 card at random. Discard. And by the way, yes, we have to put a threat on the main scheme anyway. So discard 1 card at random from each player's hand. Place 1 threat on the main scheme for each different resource type. Well, we only have to worry about 1 going to pick this one, and we lose one backflip, which was a physical resource. So main scheme gets another threat on it. Second encounter card is Advance. The villain schemes. Wonderful. The villain schemes. The villain schemes. So he schemes for 1. Plus 2 is 3. So now he's up to 5. So suddenly the break-in does not look good today. As I said, starter decks are really not that good. They kind of stink. There's really a lot of decks you really got to use. So now I got to concentrate on the break-in before I can try to take Rhino down for the first time. Very well. Okay, so we didn't take any damage though. All right, so none of these cards are really any use. This bounce team, of course, was removed. All right, so Spider-Man's turn. Spider-Man is going to thwart for 2 because he has the heroic inner wishing here. So he thwarts for 2. That turns the 5 back down to a 3. We then play a physical resource. I'm going to play backflip to get rid of tenacity, which readies him, and then he will again thwart for 2 and bring that down to 1. Down to 1. And then what we're going to do here is Mockingbird is going to, she's going to thwart for 1 as well to take the break-in off. She has 2 damage on her. And let's see. I have Heroic Intuition, Great Responsibility, and Spider Tracer. I'm going to throw those cards away. I'm going to ready him. I'm going to ready him and draw 5. And that will be the end of our turn. Power of Justice, First Aid, Haymaker, Avengers Mansion, and Emergency. Okay. All right, so we're in a big fight here against a decent fight here against first stage Rhino. He's really giving us a headache here against level 1 Rhino. He's giving us a headache. I didn't have much trouble with him the first time. All right, so Rhino's turn. So put a threat on the scheme. He will attack. Mockingbird will defend. So he attacks for 2 plus 1 is 3. She's gone. She's gone. Get an encounter card, and it is False Alarm. You are confused. If you're already confused, this card gains Surge. Well, I am confused. I know that anyway, but now Spider-Man is. All right, so Spider-Man is confused, and this is really not going well. All right, so we are... Question is, do I take Rhino down now? But he's confused, so I can't remove anything off of an extra scheme, which is not good. We are going to, what we do here? How about we... Let's smack him. So actually, no. Let's go here. Let's thwart, which takes the confused off. We will use the web shooter for 1. and use First Aid, which is here, to play Haymaker. And you know what? Actually, no, I'm not going to do that. We'll play, that gives us 1, so 2, 3, 4 to put down Avengers Mansion. Avengers Mansion now that allows us to draw a card. Draw a card, and we'll exhaust it. And we get a Swinging Web Kick, which is nice to have. And we got full damage, and I think we stay in hero form, at least for now. What do you think, guys? I think so too. So we'll go back to, we're going to end our turn, and we're going to get 1, 2, 3 cards for Justice, Black Cat, and Webbed Up. All right. So Rhino giving us a headache, and that's what starter decks usually do. Okay. So Rhino's turn. We put a threat on the scheme. Rhino attacks Spider-Man. He's going to take it. So 2 plus 0. So Spider-Man takes 2 points of damage. He's down to 8. Get an encounter card, and it is Armored Rhino suit. Dang, he is pulling everything in this game. When any amount of damage would be dealt to Rhino, place it here instead. Then if there is at least 5 damage here, discard Armored Rhino suit. Duh. So that's going to go there. So I know the damage got to go to that first before I can hit him. Holy cow, he is getting everything. All right. This is one of the toughest Rhino matchups I've had yet. Okay, so Spider-Man. Let's see what we're going to do here. We're going to bring out Spider-Man is going to attack for 2, which puts 2 damage on Armored Rhino suit. And then we're going to go ahead and we're going to use Web Shooter for 1. Avengers Mansion, of course, allows me to draw a card. And yeah, we're going to bring out, oh, that's a great card to have as Nick Fury. So Emergency, Webbed Up for Justice, and Black Cat to bring out Nick Fury. Nick Fury is going to deal 4 damage to an enemy, which will take that and get rid of the Armored Rhino suit, get that out of there. Probably should use the draw cards, but that's okay. He can take damage too, so it's good defense. And we're going to keep the Swinging Web Kick, and we will end our turn. Okay. So Rhino, give me a headache. So 1, 2, 3, 4. Remember, this is using a starter deck. This is not one of my decks. If I had built this deck, I would have already beaten him. But we're using starter decks to make it a little bit more challenging for me. Okay, so it is Rhino's turn. Put a threat on the main scheme. Rhino will attack. We draw a card on the attack, getting for Justice. Rhino attacks. Nick Fury will defend. So 2 plus 0. And Nick Fury, believe it or not, is still there, but he leaves the end of the round anyway. So he's gone anyway, no matter what. So Nick Fury is out. We draw an encounter card, and it is Sweeping Swoop. When revealed, stun your hero. If Vulture is in play, this card gains Surge. Well, Vulture is not in play. This card is not in play, but we are stunned. So Spider-Man is now stunned. Ouch. Yeah. This deck, Rhino is giving me a lot of headaches. All right. Our turn here. Okay, so Rhino's still down to 2 in level 1. We are going to see, this stinks because now I got, so Spider-Man's is gonna attack, which removes stunned. And let's see. Avengers Mansion allows me to draw a card. Getting a helicarrier. We are going to use Webbed Up, Great Responsibility, and Interrogation Room to put out Jessica Jones. Jessica Jones joins forces here. And then we're going to play Helicarrier and Swinging Web Kick to bring out For Justice. Remove 3 threat from a scheme, 4 threat if you paid for this using a mineral resource, which we did from Swinging Web Kick, but I don't care. That just gets all this off the main scheme because we're going to flip. Jessica Jones will attack for 2. And that will finally knock Rhino down to 0. So level 1 Rhino is finally beaten. That took a while to do on this. It took a while to do with this. So stage 1 Rhino is beaten. Okay. So now we go to Rhino stage 2. Rhino stage 2. Search the encounter deck and discard pile for the break in and take inside scheme and reveal it. Shuffle the encounter deck. So the break in and take inside scheme we know was, I believe it's still in here, I think. And yes, it is. So there is the break in and take inside scheme. And we shuffle the encounter deck. And the side scheme breaking and taking gets 2 threat on it. And Rhino is now back to 15 hit points. And that is our turn. So, and flip, we're going to flip what we're going to flip. We're going to flip over. And May heals us for 4, which gets us back to 10. And now that's our turn. So we go back up here and we get 6 cards. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Strength, Enhanced Spider Sense, Web Shooter, 2 Swing Web Kips, and Enhanced Spider Sense. All right. Well, we'll see what happens. So, okay, so Rhino schemes instead. He schemes. So he schemes for 1 plus, well, first we put the scheme, put a threat on the scheme. Schemes for 1 plus 2 boost here is 3, so he gets 3 more. And with the breaking and taking side scheme, it actually gets 2 encounter cards. So really much, if I can just avoid the 2 encounter cards, I should be able to make this. First encounter card is another Hydra Mercenary, which is a guard, which stinks. The second encounter card, a Hydra Bomber. Choose to either take 2 damage or place 1 threat on the main scheme. When revealed, I guess I'm going to take the 2 damage because it's just going to be healed up by Aunt May anyway. All right. That's terrific. I can't do anything against Rhino because of the Mercenary. So that prevents me from maybe knocking his butt out. Okay. So now it is our turn. So we now go to our turn. So level 2 Rhino here. So let's see what we're going to do here. Aunt May will exhaust. And that will bring him back to 10. Healing. Let's see. Jessica Jones. Use Avengers Mansion. Draw a card. Get a genius. I got enough energy. I have enough energy to knock his butt out. I think I do. I think I may have enough energy to knock his butt out. But I got to get him out of here first. So, Peter Parker generates a resource. He generates a resource, limit once per round. So he generated a resource. And we're going to flip him over. Generates a resource. He's going to attack for 2. And Jessica Jones will attack for 2, getting the mercenary out of the way. So we generated a resource, which we're going to save. Generated the resource. And that, of course, gives her that. Interrogation room, remove a threat from a scheme due to kicking a minion of a butt, kicking a minion's butt. Have a Hydra Bomber in front, but the Hydra Bomber we don't have to worry about. We need to do 15 points of damage on Rhino in the turn. Well, believe it or not, we can actually do it. He generated a resource. We play Genius. For 1 swinging web kick, deal 8 damage to an enemy. So the 15 now goes down. 15 now goes down to 7. And then we play Strength, Enhanced Spider Sense. For another swing web kick, deal 8 damage to an enemy. And Rhino is down. And he is toast. Blech. And that is it, guys. How about that? That was a little bit tougher than it was usually when I play Spider-Man against Rhino, but the deck was a little tough this time, but we were able to go ahead and do it. With the starter deck, Spider-Man does beat Rhino and foils the break-in. How about that, everyone? How about that? Well, I just want to hope that everybody enjoyed this, and it was fun to play. So since Spider-Man took out Rhino, the next villain he's supposed to face from the core box is Claw. Claw is a real pain in the butt. He's a real pain in the butt. He is very difficult. He really is. I think he's actually harder than Ultron. I think Claw is harder than Ultron, mostly because of the side scheme he has, Masters of Evil. So that is going to be it. So Spider-Man defeats Rhino. He will move on to the next villain, and that will be Claw. Now, of course, the next hero in waiting, if Spider-Man gets defeated, is Captain Marvel. She is the hero in waiting in case Spider-Man gets beat. So that is a victory for Spider-Man over the mighty Rhino, and the break-in is foiled. And I don't see that anybody join me for the day, but that is okay. So whoever did watch this, please leave a like on your way out of the movie theater. Subscribe if you've not done so, and make sure you hit the bell. Stay safe, stay healthy, stay smart, stay strong, and we'll see you guys next time. I may have something else coming up later tonight. If not, probably tomorrow. It is a victory for Spider-Man as he knocks out Rhino and the break-in and Marvel champions. We'll see you guys next time. Have a good night. Take care.